A few months ago, a friend of mine who is an up-and-coming nature photographer decided to spend a day and night alone in the woods outside of our town. She wanted to get photos of the woods and wildlife as naturally as she could for her portfolio. She wasn't afraid of being alone, as she had camped by herself many times before. She set up a tent in the middle of a small clearing and spent the day taking pictures. She filled up 4 rolls of film on that trip. But when she went and got them developed, she saw 4 photos that unsettled her. These 4 pictures were taken from inside the tent, of her, asleep in the middle of the night. Farmer John was dead and gone. Haymen watched his fields still, lumpy sacks that had for long drawn the crows in manner ill. Some had come to pull them down, but always failed in their task. Bound to flee at hinted frown, seen they swore in vacant mask. Passerby would scarce arrive, merely then to talk no more. My, but crows do love those 5. Strange, I thought them only 4. Land forsook turned callous ear to the murmur of the straw, as the moon revolved the years o'er the din of sated caw. Farmer John had died and gone, yet his haymen still remained, soulless things to greet each dawn, till such time as fate ordained. Seasons turn their clothes to dust, naked truths at last revealed, gutted bodies neatly stuffed, with straw had been resealed. 'Twas his family time would show, wife and daughters no mistake. No one, though, would ever know who'd got John up on his stake. In Berlin, after World War II, money was short, supplies were tight, and it seemed like everyone was hungry. At that time, people were telling the tale of a young woman who saw a blind man picking his way through a crowd. The two started to talk. The man asked her for a favor. Could she deliver the letter to the address on the envelope? Well, it was on her way home, so she agreed. She started out to deliver the message. When she turned around to see if there was anything else the blind man needed, she spotted him hurrying through the crowd without his smoked glasses or white cane. She was naturally suspicious, so she went to the police. When the police paid a visit to the address on the envelope, they made a gruesome discovery. 3 butchers had been harvesting human flesh and selling it to the starving people. And what was in the envelope the man gave to the woman? A note simply saying, "This is the last one I am sending you today." I look into the night, and I know I'm in a trance. As my head turns to the right, I see the shadows dance. The voices keep on saying, "Do it, do it, die." I feel my skull expanding. At least I have to try. I can't take all the screaming. On the balcony I kneel. I feel like I am dreaming, but no dream is this real. I jump towards my death. I watch the ground get closer. As my bones rip through my flesh, I know my life is over. Now you've heard my story. Look out the corner of your eye. I'm screaming at you hoarsely.
Do it. Do it.
You feel an itch in your throat. You try to cough it out, but it just won't come. You struggle with forcing yourself to vomit. You drink lots of water, but whatever it is, it's just stuck there. You reach for the carton of milk in the fridge and sneeze as you raise it up. Something hits the floor with a rattle. You look at the floor and see a small button with a flowery design on it. Then you look up. On the milk carton, you notice a missing kid. Her blouse shows the same buttons. You are home alone, and you hear on the news about the profile of a murderer who is on the loose. You look out the sliding glass doors to your backyard, and you notice a man standing out there in the snow. He fits the profile of the murderer exactly, and he is smiling at you. You gulp, picking up the phone to your right and dialing 911. You look back out the glass as you press the phone to your ear and notice he is much closer to you now. You then drop the phone in shock. There are no footprints in the snow. It's his reflection. Coffins used to be built with holes in them, attached to 6 feet of copper tubing and a bell. The tubing would allow air for victims buried under the mistaken impression they were dead. In a certain small town, Harold, the local gravedigger, upon hearing a bell one night, went to go see if it was the children pretending to be spirits. Sometimes it was also the wind. This time, it wasn't either. A voice from below begged and pleaded to be unburied. "Are you Sarah O'Bannon?" Harold asked. "Yes," the muffled voice asserted. "You were born on September 17th, 1827? "Yes." "The gravestone here says you died on February 20th, 1852. "No, I'm alive. It was a mistake. Dig me up. Set me free." "Sorry about this, ma'am," Harold said, stepping on the bell to silence it and plugging up the copper tube with dirt. "But this is August. Whatever you are down there, you sure as hell ain't alive no more. And you ain't coming up." Fingers trembling with excitement, I opened the package. Just as I had hoped, it was the camera I won on eBay. With mild delight, I realized I had received a better deal than I had planned, because the previous owner had left the memory card in the slot. Before sending an email to the seller alerting them of the mistake, I decided to see if anything was on it. Setting the camera on slideshow, I watched as the camera displayed a picture of a shipping label. My confusion turned to horror, as the next image was of a person brutally murdered. The rest of the card was alternating pictures of a mailing address, followed by a murder scene. The last image was of the shipping label from the box I had just opened. I begin tucking him into bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him. Another him. Under the bed. Staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed."